This is Jin with SeductionUnleashed.com, helping you unleash your best with women and beyond. And right now we're about to go into something incredibly important, which is the 3 signs of male insecurity that unconsciously turn women off. So the next time you're on a date or you're in a situation with a woman, you don't unconsciously do those little things that may have been conditioned to us from friends to family to even society at large that ultimately make you come across weak. Number 1, first things foremost, I want to say bragging, dude. This is something. Let me just start with a story of this. I know a guy. We were in a situation. He was a cool dude. He was actually, I couldn't even say he was a cool dude because I actually just met him. But at first, he seemed like a cool dude. We were in a social situation. You know, a couple friends together. We in the house. We chilling. We're like drinking a bit. There's a little bit of drinking or whatever. We start playing little games. It was a drinking game. It was Never Have I Ever. So we were going around doing Never Have I Ever, and we're basically, essentially, you say something that you never did before, and if someone in the room has done it, then they take a shot. But the thing was, basically, anytime someone said something that sounded like it was the shit or sounded like it was so cool, this motherfucker would take a shot. Like, oh yeah, I wrestled 3 alligators in the pond last week. Here this motherfucker go, taking a shot across the room, and you just hear like, come on, dude, really? Oh, I had a threesome before. Dude takes a shot. Oh, I've done some crazy drug. I had some crazy experience. Dude takes a shot. Then when we actually ask that dude, you know, details like, so what happened? You could tell by his answers they were so vague that he was just lying. He was just making shit up, and it just irritated the fuck out of me because he's just, you know what we call these guys? We call these the Mr. Me Too guys. When you're constantly, dude, those people, and a lot of women are like that too, where it's like, oh yeah, me too. Oh yeah, I got that newest game system too. Oh yeah. Everything is like, you just want to come across cool all the time, but the problem is that when you're not subtle, that shit is not subtle. Everyone knows, everyone in the room can see you're a fucking liar. We're all just gonna laugh and nod our head, but ultimately, man, when you brag to a chick, it's just, let me put it like this. There's also shit on the other end too, because there's guys out there who do the opposite, where maybe you need to do a little bit of bragging. Hell, I knew a girl who basically would tell me how this guy that she basically wanted, she was ready to throw the pussy at him, and he literally turned her off. He literally fucked it up for himself. She would basically hit him up in the middle of the afternoon, and he would just usually be like, oh yeah, I just came home from work, and you know, I'm just, to be honest, I don't really do shit. I just work and I'll be bored at home. So what are you doing? This is what he literally said, and this alone fucked up everything. Hey, that dude, he might have benefited from saying, hey, I was wrestling some fucking alligators in a pond last week. That dude in particular, but everything is duality, man. Everything is balance, and ultimately, man, showing is better than telling. I mean, I got a big mouth. I talk a lot of shit too, but ultimately showing is better than telling. When you brag, and it's an unconscious thing. Women notice when guys, because if you're bragging, what are you really trying to do? You're trying to seek some level of validation from the girl, and she's going to feel that. Whereas instead, if you're just genuinely like, I'm the shit, and you're sharing experiences, and it's for you, just sharing the experiences for you, then it'll come across way more naturally. Sign number 2. This is more so for relationships, but asking what she's doing while trying to be low about it. Here's the thing. If you're gonna ask a girl what she's doing, then just ask her what she's doing. If you're in a relationship with a girl, then just ask her what she's doing, whatever the case is. Don't worry about coming across insecure. If you wanna know something, then just ask it. But what you don't wanna do is have this mindset of, oh, I never wanna look jealous, or I never wanna look some kind of way, or I never wanna look like I have boundaries of self-respect by any means, or that I get affected by anything ever, because there's this idea in the dating community or whatever the case is, where it's like, to be alpha or to look confident, you have to look like you don't give a fuck about nothing. Some chick could come stumbling in drunk, and you're like, oh, I'm just unaffected. I'm not gonna act jealous, or I'm not gonna act annoyed, or I'm not. That's bullshit. We all have lines of fucking respect. And a lot of guys, because they get that idea of, oh, I'm never gonna look insecure or whatever the case is, they instead will ask it in a way where it's like, oh, where are you going out tonight, honey? Like, oh, like this, it's hard to explain, because it's like, let me put it like this. You ever ask something where it's like, you don't want to come across needy or maybe insecure or jealous, but you're trying, you want to know, but you try to be low, so you just try to casually ask her, like, oh, what you doing? She knows, man. She knows that you're secretly trying to kind of just because chicks do the same thing. Chicks will be like, oh, cool, so what are you doing Thursday? Or like, oh, what'd you do yesterday? It's like they're curious. They want to know, man. They're trying to, and you feel it. When chicks do that shit, you know they're trying to do it. So best believe that when you do it to them, they know what you're trying to do. And I feel like that shit is way more weaker than just naturally going up to her and just saying like, oh cool, where you guys headed? Oh, that's what's up. And if you don't respect it, then you just let it be known that you don't respect it. That is way better than trying to play this game. Because a lot of guys, they get way too obsessed with playing this game of, I'm gonna look not affected, and then I'm gonna do some popping shit and then act like some other kind of way, that type of shit. Ultimately, I don't really like that shit. I like clear communication. I like clear boundaries. I'm a man. I'm about logic and fucking being direct. Honestly, not everything is about adjusting to the woman. That's another big thing that is a sign of insecurity, man. That's some shit that isn't mentioned a lot, but I think it's very important because a lot of guys do it and they think they're low, and it's not fucking low. I'd rather you just flat out press her, or just not even press her. Maybe that's a little bit too aggressive. Just no emotion. I'd rather you just be clear in the things that you ask, rather than, you know, hey, so, oh cool, so where'd you say you were going again Friday? That type of shit. Don't be doing that, man. Don't be doing that shit. Number 3, asking before trying. Asking to test the waters. Now, for example, sexually, this is a big one. A lot of dudes, they'll say shit like, I'm in a relationship for 7 years and we used to have a lot of passionate sex, but lately it hasn't been happening. And, you know, I've been talking to her. I'm like, hey, like, we haven't been having a lot of sex lately. What's the issue? I've been trying to logically discuss the shit and come to some kind of conclusion of success. And that's what dudes are doing. And ultimately, that is one of the worst things that you can do possible. This falls in line with the whole asking before trying something. Like, you're not so sure that she's gonna be into a threesome with girls, so you ask her, hey, are you into threesomes? And then she says no, and then you freak out, or she goes and then you freak out, or whatever the case is. You need to test the waters in different ways rather than trying to ask. Do not ask for sex. Do not ask for anything. Let me put it like this. I'm trying to think of better examples, because a lot of times that's the number one thing though, is when dudes talk about being in a relationship long term and they're not having a sex life, so they get frustrated and they start bitching at the chick, or they start logically trying to talk to the girl outside of the bedroom, outside of the moment of actually her being turned on, which is the equivalent of trying to talk to. Let me put it like this. Obviously, if you met a girl for the first time, you're not gonna logically give her reasons why she should date you. That's why it's the same reason why you cannot sit a girl down and logically give her reasons why she should want to suck your dick or want to do this sexually with you. You have to make that shit happen and make her feel it. And ultimately, man, sometimes testing the waters is taking your balls and just testing the waters. And if you get rejected, then fuck it. You try again next time, period. If you're gonna ask something, at least make it a little ballsy, man. Say, hey, you look like your favorite position is doggy style. Is that true? Don't lie. Hey, I don't judge. Don't judge me. That right there is perfect. Things like that. Hey, have you ever been into BDSM? Hey, you don't have to lie. If you've had some dominatrix fantasies in the past, hey, you can tell me. I don't judge. That type of shit. That's more. If you're gonna be asking ballsy questions, those are the kind of questions that I fuck with. Questions where it's like, you're pushing the limit a little bit. You're asking her feelings on things rather than asking if she fucks with something or not. Because if you ask her directly, oh, do you like midget gangbangs, some crazy shit, she's just gonna be like, no. If you just ask her some logical yes or no questions, she's just gonna say whatever the fuck is gonna keep her reputation. You have to ask her feelings and let her know, give her the pretense that you're not gonna judge. And also, if she feels very defensive, then you let her know not to let her judge you, because the same way women use shame and, you know, looking like virtue signaling or looking like the positive person to get the right answer or to manipulate situations, you do the same thing. You let a girl know, hey, don't judge me just because, hey, I just asked an honest question about sex. Is sex such a big deal? Like that type of thing. Well, honestly, they are now on the defensive and they feel ultimately safe to let themselves go and be open up and just open up to you, period, man. Because asking, oh man, that shit makes me cringe. That is worse than a dude talking about he's been in a relationship for years and years and years and years, and he literally logically sits down and tries to act, or even worse, oh, we're gonna go to a counselor. That's even worse. You're gonna go to some person who doesn't know either of you, who's on the clock getting paid to basically sit down and logically discuss why you're not having a sex life. Are you serious? You have to turn her on. That's just what it comes down to, man. And even that, to a certain degree, is culturally conditioned. The whole idea of going to a fucking person, and, you know, honestly, I'm not here to shit on anybody else's hustle or career or whatever the case is, but it's just one of those things when you just have this idea of Because a lot of times in society we get told, oh, communication is the key and just da-da-da. So you just have this logical mindset as a guy where I'll just sit down, I'll talk it out, we'll find some conclusion, and it's just not what you want to do, man. So if you enjoyed that dope, incredibly popular video and you want to learn more on dating, relationships, self-improvement, and motivational content, start now by hitting that button right there so you can join that Unleash notification gang, bro. If you want to continue your journey as pimp, hit that video right there. So with that being said, bro, unleash your best, and remember, until next time, confidence is bred by competence. Peace.